Hey guys, thanks for tuning into that previous video with my first ever built hydraulic cammed Cleveland 2V headed, and that build will eventually be rebuilt again to this bad boy right here, which most of you guys have heard me talk about. Now this here is my actual all combination 2V headed closed chamber deal, which I ran around for and basically, remachined everything and got their heads all redone and ported out. Pretty much maximum. They float around 510 horsepower. I can't remember, what CFM and all that business. There was a sheet that came with it, but God knows where it is. 750 double pumper carb, and it even ran for most of its time the same Mallory dual point distributor, would you believe, before we swapped it out to a Bosch electronic, a regraphed OEM Bosch style electronic distributor. And you can see there I love running my 2-inch spacers. I ran a 2-inch spacer on top of a 2V WEN accelerator single plane intake, and this is a pump fuel deal back then. So this is, I don't know, the around can't remember, mid to late 90s, and ran on pump fuel. We had 10.5 to 1 compression, and just a badass deal. It was top loader, 456 wheel gears, 26-inch slick by 10-inch wide, and it was a 3500 lb full weight Falcon Aussie sedan, and it did all right. 12.0 at 116, 117 by memory, and it literally had 50 or 70 plus passes, this thing. And this is a meeting here that got rained out that I actually attended myself, along with the 2V headed deal, which was already a couple or a few years old at this point. That 2V combination, and like I said, it was just constantly raced and street driven. For those that tuned in a few videos back with my 4V 10-second powder cleaver, you can see here my Capri, and that wasn't a bad deal also. I mean, there was more left in it, as you guys have heard me mention. He had a small stall converter speed of only 4,200 RPM. And you got to remember, that needs to climb and work its way up all the way to 7,300 on the change, which isn't ideal, but there was more left in it if you chased 60-foot time, and if you, chased converters and, higher stall speeds and things like that. But it did all right. And like I said, that 750 double pumper 4150 carb helped it out in that business also, for it to sort of get up and push away from $4,000 upwards, especially being a large port head deal. But yeah, there was more left in this 4V application too. But, being young and budget, just wasn't quite there. You just had to muck around with what you had, and it did all right. There was probably a few more tenths left in it in 60-foot converter. And towards the end of its life, we found that the top gear was slightly burnt out because of its back half trap, speeds and things like that. But yeah, it did all right, And you can tell there, by the way, this 4V Clevo cackles, you know what I mean? And even that 2V combination, you can hear there, it sounds, my Clevelands back then, they sound badass. And that's to the diff too, running full pipes and mufflers all the way to the rear axle. So you can only imagine, straight out headers, how wild it'll sound. But yeah, we did all right, for young fellas playing around with low budgets and, mucking around with, Clevos, both 2V and 4V, and, basically being stock deals, stock stroke, even stock rod, even the 302, the 2V headed closed chamber deal was stock 351 rods at 5.78 inch, wasn't even a 6-inch, 302 rod or anything like that. So yeah, it's pretty badass. Thanks guys, thanks for tuning in.